How's it going, everybody? It's Stas here. So the markets didn't do so well today, guys. It was one of those days. The Dow and the S&P went down 0.8%. We had the NASDAQ 100 and the Russell go down 0.7%. So I want to break down what happened, my thoughts. We're going to look at some charts as always, and we're going to break down a bunch of stocks I'm looking at now. And there was an industry that did very well today. I want to cover that in this video as well. So sit back, relax, take a sip of, I usually say coffee, but today I'm sipping on a Rain. You guys can see it right here. So yeah, take a sip of your Rain. Make sure to go down below, get 2 stocks from WeBull. They're valued up to $1,600. And let's get right into the video. So guys, look, we covered this in the midday video. And if you guys were on Patreon this morning, I warned about this. I noticed this morning a double top, not only on SPY, but also on QQQ, right? And that ended up playing out, I guess you can say, pretty dang perfectly. And again, I noticed this morning as we did hit 418 pre-market, and then we saw a nice sell-off throughout the entire pre-market session, right? And you notice on this 10-day chart, you can see exactly where we topped out 2 days ago, 2 trading days ago, that is. That was right at 418, right? So I thought it was a bit bearish in a sense that we gapped up to 418 this morning, and we ended up selling off the entire pre-market, opened up at 415, and then boom, we started collapsing right as the market opened, and the markets didn't really take a big hit until, I guess you can say, 1:30 p.m. on the East Coast. That is where things got very ugly and very quickly ugly, if that even makes sense. But yeah, I guess I said that weirdly there, but yeah, you guys can see 415 to 411 is where we went. That was a 0.9% drop in the span of 2.5 hours from 1:30 to 4 p.m. here on the East Coast. And now after hours, it looks like we're down a tad bit more. So that is a bit worrisome. I'm not going to lie. It looks like the double top is playing out as of now. We also broke under the moving averages here on the hourly chart. So by the looks of it, guys, if we break 411 on SPY, which we haven't done so yet, but let's say we break that tomorrow or some point this week, I'm thinking we're going to go and test the lows from last week. That's very possible in my eyes, and that's anywhere from 400, 402, 405. You know, that could give this SPY, that is, about 1.5–2% more downside from here. So be prepared for that. This is not looking too great. It looks like it's slowly, the trend here is descending. Today's dump off, not looking great. And QQQ, it looks pretty much the same. The technicals are very similar. I noticed a double top this morning. You guys can see we hit resistance at 328 a couple days ago. That is where we hit pre-market today. We ended up dumping off leading into market open. Then once market open came around, we saw a little spike, but then the rest of the day, it was a pretty quick sell-off, as you guys can see here, right, very clearly. And I believe, yeah, QQQ, especially if we break the low point from yesterday, notice how we closed above that at about 320, 321. If we end up breaking that point, then I believe, yes, we might be able to go down and test those lows from last week at about 314.90, 315. I believe that is very likely to happen by the looks of it. And again, you guys can see here, it's a descending pattern that's been forming on QQQ for a couple of trading days now, more than just a couple, and it looks like it wants to continue. And on top of that, we had the VIX up 8%. Gold and silver, both of those were up. You know, the precious metals, those did well. So overall, there's volatility and there's fear still in this market. There's no doubt about it. And what do you guys think? Let me know down below. Are you buying? Are you selling? Are you still holding on? I'm definitely holding on with you guys. I'm just not doing too much buying right now because, again, the charts look like we could go lower, so I want to keep some buying power, some dry powder on the sidelines just in case that happens. So, yeah, what do you guys think? Let me know. Feel free to smash that like button if you all are enjoying this video so far. I'd really appreciate that. And let's get right into some stocks now that I'm looking at, and we'll talk about that industry that did very well today. And a lot of stocks did well today. It's weird. I mean, look at my watch list. I'll push my face to the right here. Excuse me, guys. You can see here, look, we have on the left half my watch list, more than half. It did well. And then we had, obviously, some companies that were red. So we'll talk about that in a second. But overall, today we had a bunch of earnings. We talked about Walmart in the previous video. Make sure you guys go check that one out. I don't want to repeat that in this video. But what we didn't talk about was Home Depot. Home Depot ended up reporting pretty good earnings. EPS came in at $3.86 versus $3.07 estimated. And revenue came in at $37.5 billion versus $34.89 billion estimated. So that was a double beat. And Q1 same-store sales were up 31%. That's just ridiculous. That's year over year, by the way, versus the 21% that was estimated. And Home Depot definitely is benefiting from the inflation, right? We're seeing a lot of these building materials go up a lot. I mean, I'm talking a lot in terms of year over year and month over month at this point. This stuff has been increasing, right? We don't know how long that's going to last. We'll see. No one knows, right? If they tell you they know, run the other way, right? But yeah, no one knows, but as of now, they're definitely benefiting from that. And the stock was doing well pre-market. It was at 328, and now it's at 316. Wow, so it lost about 4% value from pre-market, and now it looks like on the 5-day, it's holding this level right here at about $315. That's been a pretty solid support, at least the past couple of days. So maybe we get a rebound play here on Home Depot, maybe back up to where it was pre-market today, 328. I think that could be a very viable move there. So I like Home Depot, ticker symbol HD. And now let's talk about some of these stocks that I'm sure you guys might have noticed. A lot of the EV-oriented stocks today, well, they did very well. We had Plug Power, we had Fisker, we had ChargePoint, and a bunch of others, right? I want to look at Plug Power there, though, for a second here. Ticker symbol PLUG. This one's been on a downswing from $75 down to about $15. Holy crap, guys. I didn't realize it went down that much. 80% of a drop. That's just ridiculous. And now it looks like the past couple of days, at least, we've been rebounding. We just broke above the 50 moving average a couple days ago. Now we filled the gap all the way to the 180 moving average here on the 4-hour chart. So technically, yes, we're still downtrending, but the truth is, if we end up breaking above 30, I'd say, and we get good news in terms of, EVs pushing forward here, which I expect we will, I think that could be the breakout spot. So I'm going to put an alert for Plug Power at about $30. I'm going to put that right here. $30 mark is at or above. Create that alert. And let's look at some other ones. ChargePoint did well today. This is one I own, up 3%. It's finally starting to break out of the downtrend, although it's still under the 180 SMA and also under 25. So I think if 25 breaks, that is where this stock could gain some momentum. We had Fisker. FSR did very well today, up 9%. That is a pretty dang good day for Fisker. They reported earnings yesterday, which, to be honest, I didn't really look at. I think they did well from what I saw on CNBC very briefly. So Fisker, that's up and away at this point, but overall on the 4-hour, it's not so up and away. It only is on the small time frames, but when you pull back a bit, okay, it's still in a downtrend, so we still have to be careful with this one, as pretty much all these EV stocks are still in a downtrend, and Biden's going to tour the Ford's new Rogue Electric Vehicle Center near the company's headquarters in Dearborn, Michigan. I believe that's today, later today, some point in the near future, and that is where the electric F-150 Lightning pickup will be produced, and I'm very interested in that. And by the way, let's see what Ford, let's see, I bet you Ford stock's up today too. I guarantee it. Actually, we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay, we're wrong. It's down a little bit. It went down 0.08%, but overall, Ford looks like it's also breaking out of the moving averages, and it looks like it's trying to peak out of this downwards channel. This is a pretty good sign, I'd say, in the short term. So maybe we could trade this breakout on Ford. So good thing I picked up this chart because this is quite interesting. So I'm going to put an alert maybe at 12.75 on Ford. We'll be watching that in the coming days. Maybe not that high. Let's pull that down a bit. Let's put it maybe at like 12.40. That might be better. So I put that there for Ford. And overall, guys, according to Reuters, citing an unpublished White House fact sheet reported Tuesday that Biden is expected to disclose more details of his plan to spur EV adoption during the visit. So these stocks aren't necessarily moving because of obviously the Ford pickup reveal or whatever. They're moving because Biden's going to give more insight on EVs and all that good stuff. And that's pretty exciting, right? Especially if there's incentives and so forth. He's expected to rule out consumer incentives for high-price electric luxury models while pushing for incentives for mainstream vehicles as well as manufacturers that use good labor practices. So, we'll see what comes of this. As of now, we're getting a crazy rally in these EV stocks, and I'm going to be watching them. I'm definitely going to be watching them, as I do own Tesla, which didn't rally today. We all saw what happened with Michael Burry. I'm not going to get into that in this video. I'm sure all of you guys know about that. I'm not going to cover it because, quite frankly, that was breaking news yesterday. So I'm sure a lot of you guys, or last night or whatever. So NIO's one I do own, though. That went up 1.12%, which, honestly, guys, it's still downtrending as well. So we got to be careful about it. This could very well end up dumping into the high 20s, low 30s again, and that is where I would be buying more. Preferably if it did go to 28, 29 bucks, that's where I'd buy more. And do I think it's going to go low to mid 20s? Guys, I'd be shocked. You have to understand, that would be a move of, let's say it went to $25, from $34 to $25. That's a drop of another, 30-something%, maybe more from where we are now. And maybe 25%, whatever, right around there. And that's a big drop considering we've already dropped 50-60%. So you have to put it into that lens or use that lens of view to look at it. And AG, did I not call this stock out recently, guys? First Majestic Silver, we were watching it like a hawk. We saw the wedge here on the 4-hour chart. We understood silver, gold, those metals were moving up. I've been talking about this for weeks, months at this point. I bought Barrick Gold a couple months ago, and now, a lot of these gold stocks are finally starting to catch up. Now that we're getting more inflation, fear of inflation, that's really been the trigger. And the idea here is to get into these stocks before mainstream, right? Or it's really still not mainstream, the gold stocks, not at all, right? But the idea is to get in before the crowd, I guess. And when we were initially covering them here on the channel a couple months ago, that is kind of before the fear of the big fear of inflation. And that's why me, and I know a lot of you guys out there that own these gold stocks, not telling you to buy them, but now that you guys own them because you bought them on your own, we're benefiting. We're benefiting from this push here. And AG, I think, still has a lot more gas in the tank. I think this could go $20, $21, no problem. We've covered that here on the channel. And yesterday was the big break, the big breakout. Look at this. We went from 1630 all the way to the mid-17s. This had an 8% day yesterday, and it gapped up even more this morning to about 1780, which goes to show that momentum is still in the Bulls' favor. And today's trading day, although we only went up 0.3%, still dictates, to me at least, that the Bulls are still in favor because look at this. This is great. We held a higher low the entire day. We dropped down at market open. There was some profit taking, but Bulls came in and bought this up. They bought the dip and rode it back up into the low 17s, mid 17s in the at the close. In the aftermarket, it's down a little bit, but still, it's doing well. I think AG, this trend will continue. Sure, maybe it pulls back a bit here and there, but I think ultimately $20, maybe even more. That is where this is headed, and I'm going to be watching it. So that's ticker symbol AG. Dash is another one, also known as DoorDash. I'm sure a lot of you guys use their service. They went up 3.5% today. We held $110, well, more like $120 as support, right? But we've also been making lower highs. This is a descending triangle, the way I'm looking at it here. And ever since that earnings report, we've been seeing a lot of bullish sentiment in this stock. We ran from 110 to 146. What a move. And the past 2 days, we've cooled off a bit, but still, the momentum, I'd say, is still leaning towards the bulls right now. We're actually seeing an ascending triangle here on the 5-day 5-minute. So if we end up ripping out of that high from the day after earnings at 146, that would be the ascending triangle playing out. And if we break my price alert at 148, I think truly that DoorDash, and then if we pull back to the 4-hour here, 148 breaks, I think DoorDash could be off to the races, right? Does it go back to 250? I'm not going to be the guy to tell you that it's going to go to 250, guys, because I don't have a crystal ball, but yeah, I mean, it could ultimately, but that is a bit far-fetched in the short term, definitely, right? And if we're looking at this more as a short-term trade, I mean, if you think it's going to go to 250 in a quick time, you're pretty foolish. I got to be honest with you. But if you're saying, Stas, listen, I think it's going to go to 165. That was the resistance back in the end of April. You know, that's where the last rally was. I'd look at you and I'd be like, okay, yeah, that's a good point. I think it could go to 165, right? And look, 148 to 165, that's the next gap here. That's about 10, 11%. That's very possible. So I'm watching DoorDash exactly for that. Roku is another one. ROKU is the ticker. This is one that I'm being patient on. I'm waiting to see if it ends up breaking out. As of now, it's trading above the 50 moving average here, but it's under the 180 moving average, and it's still at the resistance of the wedge here. So in my opinion, we got to break 340. We got to break 340, at least 335. Then from there, I believe there could be some momentum, right? So I'm going to put an alert right at 340 here on Roku. That is ticker symbol ROKU. And maybe, okay, listen, I'm going to put an alert at 340, then I might add another one at about, let me see here, guys, maybe 345. Let's do that right now. 345 and 340. That's good. So that is Roku. I think we could end up breaking out towards high 300s. I think that is where this could get to, and that is where we were back in the middle of, and really towards the end of, April as well. So that's Roku. CCL is another one that I'm looking at very, very closely, as today we had a green day and an overall red market, and a lot of these stocks had green days today. If you guys notice, like I showed you all again earlier, my watch list was pretty green today despite the overall markets being red, right? And CCL had a great day today, up 2%, like I said. And the past couple of days, it's done well, from 24 to 27. Today, it closed over 28. This uptrend on the 5-day 5-minute is very well intact. And I believe if we cleanly break 28.60 tomorrow, the resistance from today, or at some point this week we do that, and we ultimately pull back on this 4-hour and take out the highs from back in the end of April, I believe this could see some momentum as well. Maybe a breakout towards $30, $31, which was that high point from back probably early April. Yeah, early April is where we hit about $30. So CCL, I think there's potential. Is it going to be one that we can make double our money on? Guys, no. The truth is, I mean, if you're looking at the stock market with that mentality, it's not gonna work out for you. Let's put it that way. You know, doubling your money quick in stocks doesn't really happen. I feel like a lot of people are confused with the crypto market. I mean, you guys that are have been in the markets long, or at least a couple years, you know what the game's about. But a lot of these new people that came from crypto and they're making a lot of money in crypto, doubling their money in a week with this coin, tripling with that coin, they bring that mentality to the stock market, and that's why they end up, struggling, and they get angry. They're like, what the heck? The stock market, man, this thing sucks. I can only make 10% in a year. I can only make 5% in a year. I'm used to making 55% in a week with crypto. I bought Dogecoin and I made 7,000% or whatever in a month. That's just not the reality of the stock market, guys. So I'll leave it there. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, smash that like button for me, drop a comment, subscribe. Just doing all those things helps me out a ton in the YouTube algorithm, and I do appreciate all of you guys. As always, make sure to go down below, check out my Patreon if you want my real-time buy and sell alerts, options I'm looking at, call-outs throughout the day as well, trades I'm making. You want more access to me via DM. And if you guys want a morning update video every day talking about breakout stocks, the futures, what I'm doing, and so forth, that's on Patreon. Simply go down below, or you can go to patreon.com/DasSurFest. Don't forget to also get your 2 free stocks from WeBull. Those are valued up to $1,600. All you have to do is deposit $100 using my link, and we each get 2 free stocks. Same thing with M1 Finance. Deposit $100, and we each get 30 free bucks. And all of those are linked down below. And did I mention they're free? Yeah, literally free money down below. I'll see you all later on, or actually you might as well go check out my video from earlier. 3 breakout stocks to buy now. I'll pop it up here. Check it out. I'll see you all there. Thanks for tuning in as always. Stay safe out there. Keep crushing the markets, guys. Peace out.